Hello, hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Hello, hi. So today's candle of the day, we have the Capri Blue Volcano Candle. Amazing, a classic. And today's video, I'm actually really excited for this. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I do these, I feel like every year I do this video, where it's basically if all of my makeup burst into flames. If a meteor hit the earth and all of my makeup was lost, which would be very on brand for 2021 now. And basically if all of my makeup was gone, what are the first products that I would rebuy? I like this video concept because it's not necessarily my most favorite makeup. Like some of these products are definitely like holy grail, but I also really like this concept because I feel like it's not just my favorite holy grail makeup, but it's also just like for practical reasons why I would choose what I would choose. Some of these are not my favorite, but they're definitely the most versatile products, and we'll kind of get into why I picked what I picked in a second. But my very first product that I picked for primer would be the Tatcha Canvas Primer. Now, this is not my favorite primer by any means. It's definitely a very good one. It's probably up there in like top 5, but I have other primers that I love more, obviously. This kind of almost gone. I gotta rebuy it soon. I actually love this product because it is very good at smoothing out and kind of smoothing over pores. And I have gargantuan sized pores. They're huge, they're massive, and I sometimes need something like this to really fill everything in. The big reason I picked this over something like, say, the Bobbi Brown Face Base or the Laneige Glowy Primer is because I realized that those products, I like them so much because they're very moisturizing. They make the skin look very refreshing. They make the skin look really nice. Whereas this, I feel like actually covers and sort of blurs imperfections really well. My thought process was, I kind of cheated the system a little bit. My thought process was I would probably still have some sort of moisturizer. So realistically, I could use a moisturizer and then put this to kind of give myself that glowy sort of like dewy effect that I love that those primers give. It wouldn't be as amazing. Maybe it would be. I don't know. Maybe that's the capitalist in me talking, but I could probably use a moisturizer and then just use this to kind of smooth out all of my pores and sort of, you know, rough spots. I also feel like that's kind of a good tip. If you don't want to splurge on like the Bobbi Brown Face Base, which is very ridiculously expensive, you could probably find a more thick-based moisturizer. I know CeraVe has a really, really good one. Sort of a thicker moisturizer that you can kind of put on, let it soak in a little bit, and then just put something like a blurring primer over the top. I think it's going to give you a very similar effect. So that's why I picked this one. Foundation. Okay, this one was tough. And I wanted to go, my heart wanted me to go with something like the Kosas Tinted Oil or the Makeup Revolution Foundation Stick, or kind of like my tried and true faves. However, I decided to go with this. This is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I'm in the shade Fiji. That's always my shade with NARS. That's always my shade with NARS stuff. First of all, I'm wearing this on my face today. This is easily one of the best foundations I've ever tried. And I don't really hype it up too much because it's unfortunately just not the vibe that I go for a lot. Like, it's definitely a little bit more medium to full coverage versus sort of light, airy coverage. So for me, just because I haven't been like going out, I haven't been going to parties, I don't go to bars, like that's where I would typically wear a foundation like this, especially because it makes my skin look so good. But the reason I picked this is number one, because if I am feeling a more medium to full coverage look, this is bomb. And also because I realized if I really wanted to do a sort of no makeup look, I would just use concealer and primer. Whereas this is going to help me achieve more of that full coverage, like full beat that I like. And also genuinely for a medium to full coverage foundation, this is one of the best ones I've ever tried. I have never tried something with so much coverage that makes my skin look so genuinely good. Most of my pictures and also a lot of times in videos, I'm wearing this, and a lot of you guys always compliment my skin and say it looks like really nice. It's not my skin, it's the foundation. It makes my skin look fantastic. Like 10 out of 10, cannot recommend this enough. So if I do want to go for a more sort of dewy, natural, no makeup look that I've been loving, what concealer am I gonna use? And the answer, oh my god, that scared me. What concealer am I gonna use? And the answer is this one from Kosas. This is the Kosas, I have no idea what the name is. Oh man. Super Cream Brightening Concealer. I love this. Full disclosure, I got a few of these in PR. I got like a couple different colors. I absolutely adore the formula on this. It is like my two favorite concealers, which is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Concealer and the Hello Fab Bendy Avocado Concealer. It's those two concealers combined. It has that beautiful medium coverage that's very dewy looking of the Hello Fab Avocado Concealer, while also having the same consistency as the Makeup Forever concealer. It's perfect. I have been using this non-stop. I love it so much. The only thing I wish is that it did have a little bit more brightening to it, just like kind of how the Rare Beauty concealer that I use a lot has, where it has that really bright, like bright effect to it. I wish that this had that just a little bit more, just because my under eye circles are so dark, especially on days I don't sleep. It would be really, really nice to have something that is a little bit more brightening, but as far as coverage and how well it lays under my very textured and crinkly under eyes, this is perfection. I also have done what I've just talked about, where I've just worn this in lieu of foundation and just used this with some primer and like some powder, and this looks fantastic. It melts into the skin. It blends in super easily. I've found no issues with this. Honestly, Kosas as a brand, I don't really understand why they're not more hyped up, because I've tried a few products from them now. I have this. I have loved their skin oil thing. Absolutely love that. I really like the bronzer. I don't really understand why the brand doesn't get as much hype, but honestly, their base products especially are like absolutely fantastic, like out of this world. This is so, so, so good. It's quickly become one of my new favorites, and it's the one I tend to reach for pretty much every day. All right, if you've watched any of my other videos, you probably already know what my powder choice would be. It's the Fenty Beauty Powder. I love this pressed powder. I've loved it for years. I think I've had this since I was in my old apartment. I've had this for a really long time. I am starting to run a little low, but this thing lasts forever, first of all. And second of all, genuinely just one of the best pressed powders I've ever tried. If you have any sort of texture in your under eyes that other setting powders kind of exacerbate the problem and make them even more dried out or more crinkly, you will not have that problem with this powder. Well, I don't want to say that definitively because everybody's face is different, but for me, I've had a lot of problems with other powders where they tend to really dry me out or emphasize my texture, and this does not do that. Like, it goes on the skin so seamlessly. I don't like to do loose powders all over my face usually. I usually only like to do it under my eyes or like on my nose, and then I'll do like a pressed powder for the rest of my face, but this is a powder that I will literally rub all over my face. The texture of the powder is so perfect in the sense that it's not too finely milled, but it's also definitely not super caked on or powdery, and also the coverage on this I find to be really nice. You don't get any of that white cast, you don't get any of that weird sort of residue. It's just overall, like, Fenty absolutely crushed it with this. This is one of my favorite products, and it has been for years, so obviously would have to rebuy that. For bronzer, it was a little bit of a hard choice because I have so many bronzers that I really, really love. I'm kind of a bronzer fiend lately. I don't know what's going on with me. It's kind of interesting because the bronzer that I wear on camera is definitely very different from the bronzer that I wear in real life. And the main reason for that is for being on camera, because I have like the lights and stuff, it definitely washes you out if you don't go a little bit more heavy-handed with the bronzer. So I tend to have to go a little bit more heavy-handed, and I have certain bronzers that are amazing for that, and then I have other bronzers that just look beautiful in more natural kind of everyday settings. And then I tried to think of the one bronzer that does both, and I have two technically, but I picked this one just because I think it's a little bit better, and also I've been using it forever. This was one of the first bronzers I ever bought, and that is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I've gone through like 5 of these. I love the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. It just it's another one of those products that whenever I wear it, you guys always compliment my skin. It just gives this really nice, beautiful, stunning glow. And while I hate the packaging, why? What is this? While I hate that, the product itself is amazing. It gives a beautiful, okay, I'm gonna throw this up. It gives a beautiful, stunning, sort of radiant glow to the skin while not being too sort of shimmery or over glowy. Also, I love that they have kind of different color ranges. When I first started buying this bronzer, this was the only shade you could buy. I'm glad that they're expanding that range. I think they could definitely do better with their shade range, but I also think it's a step in the right direction to continually be expanding it. I think they have like 8 shades now, which for a bronzer I think is a pretty good place. So yeah, I really love this though. So good. I've been using this for years. Also the smell is like unreal. I remember when I first bought it, I would just sit there and smell it because it smelled so good. I love it. I actually really surprised myself with my blush pick, but I also weirdly stand by this like 100%. This is the Ofra. It's very dirty because I hate the packaging, but this is the Ofra blush in Bellini. Here's the thing. This blush, not only is the formula fantastic and also incredibly long wearing. Like you put this on, you're flushed for the rest of the day. Like this is a very, very long wearing, nice formula. And it also is a very natural formula. It's not overly pigmented. Like you could definitely build it up to be a little bit more of that overly blushed trend, but you can also wear it down a little bit so it looks a little bit more like natural, you know? Number two, the color of, I don't know if I'm numbering the reasons, but here we, number two, the color of this is like the perfect shade for me. It's this perfect neutral pinky color. And again, this is a great blush in the sense that it has a little bit of luminosity to it, but for the most part, it's a little bit more matte. And the reason I wanted the option between something that maybe could work for something that was a little bit dewier, but also could be matte, is just because if I'm thinking about the only blush I ever had, this is pretty much the perfect one for that. It is very versatile and could work for pretty much all looks because of the neutral finish and the neutral color. And for that reason, this would be my first choice. Is this my favorite blush that I own? No, absolutely not. There's other blushes where I like the formula better or I like it better, but I think as far as versatility goes, I think Ofra makes very versatile blushes. Like this would work for any occasion, to be honest. I've also always loved peachy blushes. Like MAC Peaches was my favorite for so long. Brows. Okay, since we're only allowed to choose one brow product, because honestly, I don't know if I'm alone in this, but my brow routine is just that. It's a routine and it requires a handful of items to do my brow routine. Not that it's particularly complicated. It's just I use a lot of products for my brows normally. However, if I just had to pick one, I would absolutely go with a brow gel. And the brow gel that I've specifically been loving right now is this is so beat up. Look at this. Look at this little guy. He's so beat up. I definitely used to think that this product was really overhyped, especially for the price, because it is kind of an expensive brow gel. And I loved things like the ColourPop brow gel, the Essence brow gel, even the Glossier Boy Brow I really, really enjoyed. And then I tried this, and all of the people who were like, oh, it has such a defining brush, and that's what makes it so different, and that's why everyone loves it. I thought they were lying until I used it, and then I was like, oh, this has like the most defining brush of any brow gel I've ever used. I don't know if I would necessarily say it's worth the difference in price between something like Essence that's like $3 versus something like this that's like 20 something. I don't know if I would say it's good enough to differentiate the price. However, for me, if I'm only using one product and I can't use like a spoolie or I can't use like a brow powder or I can't use anything else, this is I would definitely want to invest a little bit more money to have something that's going to make my brows look as perfect as they possibly can with one product. And I think that that is this. Again, I'm not sure I'd recommend it compared to cheaper alternatives on a normal day, but like if all your makeup's gone, go crazy. Now, for eyeshadow palettes, this was actually very difficult and also very easy all at the same time, because I think in my heart I knew, but I didn't want to admit. But I have not been able to stop using since I bought it, the Natasha Denona Biba palette. I bought this during the Sephora 20% off sale, and I bought it because I thought that Joe Biden was going to lose the presidential election. And then he won, and then it was like a celebration palette. So it's a happy palette now. I cannot stop using this palette. I hate to be this person because I am the first person to usually be like, okay, I don't necessarily think the Natasha Denona formula is worth it for the price, especially based on like the Sunset palette. I don't always think it's worth it. However, if you are a neutral, basic person, as I am, this is perfect. It's so easy to use. The mattes blend out beautifully. You can do like a one color and go, or you can like deepen things up and make them a little bit smokier. You have the option of these kind of cool toned grays to make something a little bit more grungy looking. You have the pukey colors that I absolutely love. The shimmers are gorgeous. They look amazing with any of the mattes that you could create a look with. Like truly, I cannot think of a more sort of cohesive palette like this that I have, where everything works perfectly together regardless of what you use. I think the user friendliness of this is what really gets me. Like, this is truly such a beautiful, beautiful palette. And again, I don't know if I would recommend spending $129. I don't know if I would say, okay, this is better than something like the Raw Beauty Kristi palette, which has a kind of similar neutral color story, or you have the Give Me Glow Sweet and Sticky, you have the Artist Couture neutral nudes. Like, I have other palettes that I really, really enjoy that are neutral palettes that are great, that are not this price point, but this one is by far my favorite, both in formula and ease of use, and just everything about this palette I genuinely love so much. And every time I need to go to do like a basic neutral look, like for a video like this is the palette that I grab for, without fail. I genuinely, like, this is the one time, Natasha, that you really got me. I have no regrets about buying this. I waited for so long, and I really felt like it would be so stupid to buy this palette because of how expensive it was and how basic it is. But like, I use this so much. Easily my most used palette so far of this year and the end of last year. So good. On top of that, I have the mascara and the eyeliner I would pick. For mascara, I went with the Milk Kush mascara in the waterproof formula. Don't buy this at full price. It's half price all the time. So just wait until it's half price again. Or I heard somebody say you can find it at TJ Maxx. So just wait until it's half price. You don't need to pay the full price for this. But oh my God, is this formula so good. It really makes my lashes so incredibly like lifted and long while also still being full. It doesn't necessarily give you that sort of separated eye look, but it definitely gives you that very full look. I love this. I believe this is my third tube that I've been using, and I've been using this in like all my tutorials, all my videos. Truly been my go-to for the past few months. However, we might have a contender, which I'm going to talk about in a video next week, but this might have some competition. But so far, this has been amazing. And also the packaging on this is really nice. It's very weighted. The blue is very pretty. Overall, really crushed this. But also, I'm not going to harp on this for too long because you already know that it's the Marc Jacobs gel liner. You already knew if you've been here for any number of days. I will not shut the fuck up about this product. I can't stop. It's so good. It's such a good, I know it's expensive. I know that the $25 is a lot. All of this other stuff, like I obviously would want to rebuy it. Like, that's why it's in this video. This is like a need in my life. If you have sensitive eyes and you struggle to put on like eyeliner on your lower lash line, kohl liner, please consider checking this out. It has been a game changer. It is the only product I use. I continually rebuy it. Genuinely like the best eyeliner pencil out there, in my opinion. I've been using it for years. Fantastic. I don't really do sponsorships with like makeup brands, but if Marc Jacobs wanted to sponsor me solely to talk about this gel liner, I would love to be paid to continue shilling this product to you because I genuinely believe in it so much. Arguably the hardest sort of category was highlighter, just because I have so many for so many different reasons and I love all of them. And it really came down between this one and the very close runner-up was the Milk highlighter. And that's just because I love that highlighter, but I had to go with my gut and go with this one. This is my Natasha Denona Super Glow. Again, Natasha Denona. These Super Glows, mine is in the shade, mine is first of all very broken. Mine is in the shade 02 Light Medium. I broke it like a year ago. No, longer than that. Oh my God, it was probably like 2 years ago I broke it, and I keep just like kind of crappily repressing it. But this formula is unreal. Like, I cannot describe to you guys how, if you want that sort of like supermodel Bella Hadid effortless glow that like everybody apparently seems to have naturally, but like you don't, I didn't. It's this. Like, this stuff is like gold in a compact. I can't describe how beautifully it sits on the skin, and also just how it like radiates. I wouldn't even call it glowy. You literally radiate light the second you put this anywhere on your skin. It is so unbelievably good, and it makes me really sad that it's obviously a little fragile because I would travel with this all the time if it wasn't, but obviously she is still beautiful. Even broken, she's a beauty, and can't get enough of this highlighter. It's my absolute go-to for like an everyday natural beautiful glow, but also works with a full beat because it just gives you this radiant light coming from your body. It's amazing. Finally, for lips, I did pick a gloss. I have not used a liquid lipstick in I have no idea how long. Like I never use liquid lipsticks anymore. So I did only pick a gloss for this category, and that is the Tarte Sugar Rush Gloss Crush Slush. This is the shade that I love. I am almost out of this. We're running low, and I'm probably gonna buy a couple backups because this is the one that I carry in my bags with me. This is the one that goes with me everywhere. This is always the one I grab for first. I don't know what it is about this because I'm not a particular fan of Tarte's other products. I know that this is part of their kind of sub brand, but this is like so good. It smells like a fruit by the foot, which is just amazing in and of itself, but it also has this very sort of plumping experience without it being any sort of tingly, but it gives you, especially if you have small lips like me, gives you this sort of instant lip plump. And also the shade Slush is just such a good, like you just kind of sucked on a popsicle shade. Like that's the vibe that it has. I also am not a big fan of like, you know, full pigmented gloss because I feel like why am I wearing a sticky liquid lipstick if a gloss is too full coverage? This definitely is more of a tint with color and like full gloss. Like I would say it's about 30% color, 1000% glossy. So if you like those types of ratios where it's definitely more of a glossy gloss than necessarily super pigmented, I think you would love this. This has been one of my go-tos. And it's honestly, it's between this probably and the Dior lip oil, but this one out, because I just think it's a little bit of a better formula, a little bit more long lasting, a little bit more, it smells better too. So yeah, this definitely has been my go-to. And with that, that's everything I would buy if all of my makeup went away. Yeah. I love you guys so much. I hope this was fun. Let me know down below what you would rebuy. I love getting recommendations from you guys and then buying them. I love you guys so much. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, or dislike, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're here watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch, my social media, and everything I'm wearing on my face and everything I just talked about will be linked down below, along with my little social justice spotlight. You can go check that out. And yeah, I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!
What?